Good afternoon and welcome to Penrith Park for this round 16 clash between the Panthers of Penrith and the Parramatta Eels. With just 6 rounds left before the start of the semi-finals, for these two teams every victory is vital. Both come here after good wins last weekend. For Penrith, a stunning performance as they shut down the Canberra Raiders 23-2.
GREENE will score in the corner!
While for Parramatta, it was a thumping win over the Gold Coast 40-0, resulting in this premiership table, with Penrith moving into the top 3 and Parramatta on 18 points, just 2 away from the top 5. For Penrith, today's game is crucial if they're to keep their position in the top 3. Parramatta must have the points if they hope to challenge for a semi-final berth.
Penrith lifted themselves with a grand final preparation against Canberra. The big question is, can they do it 2 weeks in a row? They're still without Greg Alexander, Mark Geyer and Peter Kelly. They've lost John Cartwright and Brad FITTLER returns from injury on the bench. In other words, they're missing their brilliant individuals and they're relying on workers. Paul Taylor, the hooker, is playing his first game against his old club, a club who sacked him because he couldn't fit under their salary cap. Halfback Steve Carter has an excellent running and kicking game, and his combination with 5'8" Brad IZZARD will inject the spark in the Panthers' attack. On the wing, Alan McINDOE is battling a knee injury, but is the leading try scorer in the competition with 13. This match will be tougher than last week for Penrith because Parramatta are ready for them. They're keen to prove themselves after some easy wins and they're confident. But they've lost Peter Sterling and Brett Kenny, and that is a real blow. Jason Bell moves to halfback, and fullback Glen LIDDIARD will come in at 5'8". Front rower Matt Goodwin will be charging at the line. He too is up against his old club, and he too was dumped. And out wide, Scott Mahon has quickly developed into a fast, strong winger and is typical of the slippery backline for the Eels. The forwards will start this battle, but the backline will finish it. But the real question is, can Parramatta win without Sterling and Kenny, Artie?
Well, Warren, Parramatta got a problem similar to Brisbane. Brisbane had to learn to win without Wally Lewis. The same applies to Parramatta. They've got to learn to win without Kenny and Sterling. And if the guys that are replaced on the day, especially Glen LIDDIARD, can shoulder some of the responsibility, they'll go a long way to making this an interesting game today.
It's a must-win for Parramatta, but it won't be easy here at Penrith.
This is ABC Sport, bringing all Australia rugby league action at its best, live and uninterrupted on your national network.
Fine sunny day here for the Western Derby out at Penrith. And down on the sidelines is Johnny Peard.
G'day, Warren. Well, the field today is a massive sand, really. It's very soft underfoot and will make it very difficult for the players. But Parramatta will have difficulties with the Penrith defence today, and how they handle that particular part of the game will be interesting, to say the least.
And when you talk about defence, it's interesting that both these teams have exactly the same defensive record. They've both conceded 235 points, even though there's an obvious difference on the competition ladder between the two, so a better attacking record for Penrith. There's some of the Panther fans and a few Parramatta fans. Of course, it's just up the expressway for the Parramatta Eels fans, and a big crowd in the grandstand here. All looking forward to this important clash between the third-placed Penrith and Parramatta, equal 7th on the ladder. Here come the Panthers, led out by Chris Mortimer, Alan McINDOE. David Greene must be enjoying being a regular in first grade over the last few weeks. Paul Clarke, Joe VITANZA. The Penrith lineup, fullback is Greene, McINDOE on one wing, Bentley and Bradley in the centre, Darren Stewart on one wing, IZZARD at 5'8", Carter is the halfback, Van der Voort locked forward, VITANZA and Mortimer in the second row, and the front row, Clarke, Taylor and Walker. The coach is Phil Gould. Parramatta making their way out. Brian Jackson. Para power, and that's what they need today. Referee Graeme West about to move onto the field. There's the lineup. Andrew LEEDS goes to fullback. Joe Bartolo on one wing. Jackson and CRNKOVICH in the centre. Mahon on the other wing with Glen LIDDIARD moving to 5'8". Jason Bell the halfback. And the pack, LAURIE at lock. Johnston and Langford in the second row. Drake, Barnes and Goodwin the front row. The coach is Mick Cronin. Andrew LEEDS playing fullback today as the crowd stands for the national anthem. Mark Barnes, Parramatta hooker. Chris Mortimer, a man of great experience. There'll be plenty of feeling in this match. Both these teams know just how important it is. Parramatta in particular. The referee is Graeme West, and he'll need to keep a close eye on the action in tight early in this match. Play underway from the boot of Leeds. Penrith defending the southern end of the ground as Darren Stewart brings the ball back.
Actually,
Paul Clarke, sorry, Arthur.
Graeme West is the man in the hot seat today, especially in lieu of the publicity that Penrith got last week about their persistence in using the offside tactics.
Well, they conceded the penalties 15-3, and a lot of those were for hanging on in the play the ball to try and slow Canberra down, but the penalties that weren't picked up were for offside, standing up inside the 5, and you're right, there is some pressure on him today. Carter gets his kick in, but it doesn't go all that far, just going from the quarter to the halfway. Picked up by Leeds. Former Australian Rugby Union fullback. Under 21s, it was a win to Penrith. Penrith going along nicely in under 21s, and in reserve grade, also a win to Penrith, 20 points to 12. So the Panthers doing well in all grades at the moment. You can see the softness of that sand kicking up from the boots. It is thick and soft. Goodwin gets a heavy tackle from coming in hard, Chris Mortimer. Swinging arm was the signal.
He's also a bit high there, Warren. Trying to take him ball more. If you have a look here, coming over the top, it's a swinging arm by Chris Mortimer.
Certainly made contact with his head. I think Mortimer intended to hit him in the shoulder, but no doubt the arm came in contact with his head, and the penalty goes to Parramatta. And Leeds is going to attempt this penalty goal from a good 38 metres out. Penrith at home have won 7 games from 8 in 1990. Tremendous home record. But Parramatta have won 6 of the past 8 games between these two teams at Penrith. So while Penrith is sailing nicely in 1990 at home, Parramatta have a pretty good record here in Panther territory. Points scored by both these teams. You can see Penrith have the advantage there. 315 against 292. They've scored a few more tries than the Eels. Andrew Leeds steadies, moves in now. Lifts it out of the dirt, but it's wide and gathered in by David Greene. Quickly back into the field of play.
David Greene, a former Western East player, is playing very well at the moment, filling in for Alexander.
Good to see a few players that I played with still going around. David Greene deserves to be in first grade. He's always been a very wholehearted footballer, but he is certainly playing with more zip this year, since getting his opportunity with Greg Alexander out of the side. And the kick finds touch. Good long kick there from Paul Taylor.
We have a look here, Paul Taylor, dummy half, putting the boots up. He's just landing a fraction, a couple of yards inside the touch and rolling towards the touchline. A great kick by Paul Taylor.
Not much you can do to stop a kick like that with such depth on the kick and such pinpoint accuracy. Parramatta ball, out it goes to LIDDIARD, playing at 5'8", wearing number 1. That's that record I was speaking about, points against, dead even between these two teams. Charging forward there for Parramatta, Peter Johnston. Mark Laurie spins out of a tackle. The first round result between these two was a win to Parramatta, 19-10 at Parramatta. LIDDIARD spins it wide. CRNKOVICH, Danny CRNKOVICH, another player who's spent a lot of time moving between first grade and reserve grade over the last couple of seasons. David Greene can't quite gather it in.
It's a huge kick by LIDDIARD there, kicking from the dummy half position.
Even last week with Peter Sterling in the side, Glen LIDDIARD took over a lot of the kicking role in general play.
He certainly has a prodigious punt.
Van der Voort takes them on.
John, you were just saying before about Parramatta not having a sweeper. It's already noticeable there.
Yeah, there's no doubt Jason Bell will play up in the line, Arthur. So there is opportunities there for Steve Carter to chip. But I think Parramatta's best chance is really to move the ball around. They've got to try and make this very disciplined Penrith defence feel uncomfortable.
Mark Laurie and Greg Drake all over Joe VITANZA. Drake not clearing him quickly enough. The penalty goes to the Panthers.
He's giving a good 5 metres also, Graeme West, but it's almost 10 metres, but occasionally he does go back to the 5 metres. The most important thing is to keep them apart.
Here's Carter working the tap move. Winger Darren Stewart is in there. Paul Clarke, former Balmain player, came to the Panthers when Matt Goodwin moved away from the Penrith area. Paul Clarke thought he had the opportunity and then finally got it when his form got him over the top of Peter Tunks, who went around in reserve grade today, with Royce Simmons. Taylor at dummy half. Carter puts the kick through, lands in the grassier area of the field. There's Scott Mahon, trying to dance away, but the tackle comes in well from Brad Izzard. Leeds. Good tackle right around the ankles from Taylor. Plenty of men up there as well, Barry, Walker and Bradley. Johnston tries to duck under a tackle. 24 metres out. Greg Drake. Big fellow is Greg Drake. A lot of size about him. Mark Barnes can't escape. Brian Jackson turns attention, or is it Scott Mahon it is? Penalty goes to Parramatta. Mahon back on his feet. Paul Taylor not marking up correctly here.
No, this is the incident here where Paul Taylor, he's pinched him for not marking up properly.
They've even moved too quickly, got around him too quickly.
We should have been pinched the ruck before. He came from an offside position, Paul Taylor, and he wasn't even marking up. He got off the ground from the tackle player and assisted in the tackle.
Langford goes straight ahead from the pass inside. Drake breaking into full stride. Looks to be the sort of big front row who needs to have that little bit of room to get to full pace before he can be damaging. LIDDIARD. Right on the halfway line as Van der Voort closes in on him. Bell slips a short ball away and streaming through as Johnston has supported Mahon outside. Mahon has Greene in front of him. Burst through that tackle. Knocked off balance at least by the fullback, and Mortimer's across in cover, but just 5 metres out. Barnes tries to straighten it, couldn't find support on the inside. It's the 5th tackle. Just 5 metres out, they work at the blind side. Slipped away to Johnston. He slips it back inside, but the tackle had been made, and in some ways they may have been a little lucky to get away with. The referee plays the handover.
Certainly a great break there by Mark Laurie.
Terrific pass by Jason Bell, Arthur. He's got one of those rare talent of buying a bit of time when he's got the ball in his hand.
We'd also noticed in that play, Bradley was offside a mile. He got caught out wide there, so, you know, if they head to Bradley's side, I think they might make a few breaks out there.
Yeah, either inside him with an inside ball or a close ball, or perhaps you could even get around him. He gets up that quick if you're good enough with your hands and you're deep enough.
5th tackle. Back only 10 metres in front of his post as David Greene gets the left footer in, but Leeds has judged it well, takes it on the burst. There's Phil Gould up at the back of the grandstand, keeping a close eye on things. Pass goes behind Bell.
Taylor down in the background there.
Matt Goodwin tries to charge straight ahead, but the defence holds. Good tackle there, Van der Voort. Also Walker. There's Taylor down. Laurie gets a good pass away to Johnston. On the inside is CRNKOVICH. CRNKOVICH away from one tackle. Finally pinned by Greene. but they're making inroads. Good work there from Laurie and Johnston. Barnes swings it wide. Lydiard, he also goes wide. Johnston slips it back inside. Racing away is Bell, and he's pulled down just a few metres out. Penrith at 6s and 7s. It's the 5th tackle. Parramatta need a quick play the ball. Now they finally get it. The ball hooked up high in the air. It's coming down near the post. This is danger. It's loose. It's anyone. Parramatta forced the ball. The referee says it was carried forward.
I thought we were Parramatta a bit unlucky. Chris Mortimer should have conceded a penalty there and deserved at least 5 minutes in the sin bin. There's the bomb going up. We have a look here. There's a scramble in the in-goal area. Hands everywhere coming off Peter Johnston. The ball going forward, even though it did come backward eventually.
Well, there's Taylor. Looks as if he's leaving the field in some distress. And Brad Fittler. Well, there's a tremendous reserve player to have coming on from this position with the injury. Fittler out with injury last week, and except for the good form of Penrith, no doubt he would have been straight back into first grade anyway.
This will be interesting to see what the team shuffle will be, John.
Yes, I'm just trying to work it out, Arthur.
Just getting back to that ball bouncing around in the in-goal area as Paul Taylor leaving.
I think Van der Voort, sorry Warren, I think Van der Voort will go to hooker, and then they'll bring possibly Bradley or Bentley into lock.
As that ball came down from the bomb, it appeared to go forward off a Parramatta hand into the head of David Greene and then bounced backwards, and once it hit the ground it then bounced forwards once more, but it was the initial movement off the Parramatta player that I would think the referee ruled forward, because there was no real problem with the player in the in-goal area forcing it. It's the 5th tackle. Barnes at dummy half, sends it back. The kick put in by Bell.
Fittler's gone to lock forward, Warren, and Van der Voort to hooker.
I wonder if Brad Fittler's played much lock. Bentley has a run.
Have a look here. Penrith missing 7 tackles. Phil Girl will have something to say about that. They're already, the signs are out wide that Penrith are starting to open up.
But the busts were made in the middle. That's where the initial bust came. 2 busts by Johnston and Laurie involved.
Dislocated elbow for Paul Taylor.
Van der Voort is working a dummy half for them without Taylor. Mahon gathers the kick in. Fittler's in front of him, almost gets him by the collar, manages to get hold of his jersey, and Bradley's down there too. Leeds flings it out to CRNKOVICH.
John, one wonders if Fittler has the work rate to play block forward.
Yeah, you'd have to doubt that. Also, he's been used as a fresh reserve, which doesn't do too much for a player's fitness, and it'll be demanding out there, particularly in these conditions.
Johnson tries to straighten it up. Already Phil Gould would be wondering about the wisdom of only having the 1 fresh reserve. Parramatta have got 2 in Bill GREENTREE and Peter WYNN. Here's Greg Drake running straight into Brad Izzard. The ball's gone backwards, and Penrith come up with it. Parramatta players tried to shuffle the ball back, and LIDDIARD should have simply held onto it. Now Parramatta are up inside the 5. All of the back line moving up too quickly. Penrith were deep. Leeds was one of them, but he had a couple of mates all up inside the 5.
Yeah, if we have a look here, Leeds, we can't get the wide shot, but if we have a look, Leeds comes off from the in-goal area up into the hole that was created there by the overlap by Penrith. So we had to fill the hole, Andrew Leeds, and leave no one at home in the sweeper role.
Now the kick is going to be taken by Chris Mortimer.
I thought that was a touch-and-go decision too. I thought he might have been a bit benevolent there, Graeme West.
In which sense?
Well, I thought it was touch-and-go where they were offside, Parramatta.
Thought they might have been back and moving up quickly?
Well, it was just moving up quickly. I thought, you know, like, especially when he was a little bit benevolent up there towards Penrith.
Well, you're right. He played the advantage for Parramatta when Chris Mortimer held them down in the tackle.
Well, there was no advantage, really, because it was the 5th tackle, so he should have given a penalty in that situation.
Yeah. And certainly in a sin bin. It was definitely an ongoing tackle. It was a professional foul. Here's Chris Mortimer. Not a difficult one. He doesn't hit it all that well, but the flags are up. And so the Panthers are on the scoreboard, even though Parramatta have had the most of the attacking opportunities. Penrith 2, Parramatta 0. Parramatta really only in their own territory for a couple of minutes in the 14 minutes of play we've had so far.
That was a bad mistake by Peter Tunks there on camera.
Leeds restarts play.
That was brought about, what I was saying before, one was brought about by mistake by Greg Drake, trying to shovel the ball out the back.
Yeah, I don't think Mick Cronin would be too happy with that, Arthur. Trying to push a ball in your own quarter. That Goodwin mishandle and gave Penrith possession.
Here's FITTLER running like a forward. It's going to be his job today by the look of things, at least for the first half. Carter in a dummy half now. It goes to VITANZA. Played with the Gold Coast last season, but couldn't come to terms for another year. Back with Penrith where he started. Here's Carter's kick. Bouncing away from Andrew Leeds, who finally gets his hands on it. And he finds Brad IZZARD and Cole Bentley in front of him. 30 metres out from the Parramatta line. Bartolo, the winger, tries to slide through the defence using a bit of a step.
The difference between both teams' defensive pattern, FITTLER goes back behind the sweeper roll after the first tackle, John.
Maybe he's under instructions to do that. He's a good man to have there because he's got the pace to pick anything up in that direction.
Greg Drake got the pass back. It bounced, but Bell was able to pick it up. Now LIDDIARD tries to slide through, but no hole there through the forward. The Tans are tackling well with Clarke. Both getting in a couple of good solid hits in the last set of 6. As Bell puts the kick downfield. Bounced away from GREENE and McINDOE. McINDOE finally gathers it in. There's been talk that McINDOE has a knee injury and that he needs a week off, but he doesn't have his legs strapped. David GREENE goes across field. No hole for him. 27 metres out. Carter, a dummy half to Bentley. Trying to run through that soft soil. It's going to slow them up in the middle of the field. Really, from 22 to 22, we've got this pile of dirt. Looks almost as if it's been top dressed.
John, who's receiving attention in back play there?
Joe VITANZA.
Quick ball. Bradley sends it out to McINDOE. The pass went forward. McINDOE's getting it back to FITTLER. The pass marginally forward. I think the referee was right. The crowd didn't like it.
We have a look here. The ball goes out along the line. Here's the pass from IZZARD.
This pass coming up now from Bradley to McINDOE, I think, was the one.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It's a forward pass.
McINDOE has slightly overrun him. Just got to stay hanging back a little bit. You want to get to the top gear and fly down the field while the open's still in front of you, but you just have to time it so that you stay behind the man path.
Penrith just showing what a valuable acquisition FITTLER is there. He hid in behind the line and came into the point of attack, and Penrith had overs down the side, so that's an area that FITTLER could project himself into in future.
Matt Goodwin takes them on, but once more the defence doesn't flinch. He has been able to make an inroad so far. Drake, the ball is loose. There was very little chance of Greg Drake getting that pass to his support player. His arm was swinging through the air even before he'd had a look.
Well, there's next 3 years Greg Drake made, even before he offloaded the ball that was to no one. Have a look here, Greg Drake swinging around, Chris Mortimer and Clarke coming in, knocking the ball backwards. Who is it? Was it FITTLER?
FITTLER has taken over the duties, kicking for the sideline. Didn't gain a lot of ground. That one only went about 10 metres forward. Mortimer slips it away to McINDOE. Well, these two sides disrupted considerably by injury. You can't take Peter Sterling out of Parramatta and not knock the combination around somewhat. Losing Paul Taylor certainly hurt Penrith. Here's Barry Walker. FITTLER. Already he's taken the ball up 3 or 4 times. Carter seems to be the man who's designated to go to dummy half more often than not. His kick from dummy half is a good one. Down behind Leeds. Bounces it fortuitously for him. He pushes it away from Bentley. Still going is Andrew Leeds. That's a good run. He also got away from Carter. Finally took the tackle of IZZARD. Bartolo. Joe Bartolo. 20 years of age. He's actually a barman at Parramatta Leagues Club. And Darren Stewart is playing for Penrith. He's also a barman there. They work together during the week.
Joe Bartolo's all set from North Queensland, I believe.
Another man you can keep an eye on for State of Origin. Barnes gets it to LANGFORD. VITANZA swoops on him with Mortimer. VITANZA leading the tackle count for Penrith. He's already got through 10. Matt Goodwin leading it for Parramatta with 11. The ball switched back to Leeds. Now Greene has McINDOE back there with him. Tries to get on the outside of the defence. A good tackle from Goodwin.
Certainly comes some great defence already, Matt Goodwin.
Some players get through a lot of defence, but not too many. The tackles hurt. But
3 in a row for Matt Goodwin.
When you get through them and they hurt, well, then you're a very valuable defender. Clarke runs into Drake, who got plenty of shoulder into that tackle. FITTLER slips a short ball, and Walker has made the bust. He looks for support. Carter looms up on the inside. And Carter will sprint away to the drive. BARTOLO gives chase. But it's a great try by Steve Carter. Great ball too, coming from Barry Walker. Good lead up from Penrith. They split Parramatta from 40 metres out. And the speed of Carter, the backup from Carter, was essential. Here it is, good work here. Short pass from FITTLER to Walker, who was flat-footed when he got the ball. Took off quickly. The defence wasn't in front of him. And look at Carter flying up on the inside. No Parramatta cover defender could get close. BARTOLO was the nearest, but he was never going to get Carter. Great try.
If we have a look here, FITTLER going up, standing up the opposition. The short ball to Walker. Should have been covered there by Mark Barnes. Inside comes FITTLER. A great try to Penrith. Straight under the feet.
Jubilation amongst the Penrith players to finally get the first try of the match. Steve Carter. At 16 years of age, Carter sent Penrith a resume of his playing record, and they were interested. Mortimer in front. Flags are up, and Penrith skip away to a handy lead now. 8 points to 0.
Parramatta's defence has been pretty good up to this stage. Here's the dummy half moving away. A good ball through by FITTLER. Barry Walker's the man that collects it. Steve Carter, having been dummy half, ideal position to back up. He stays on his feet, stays alive, and picks up 4 points.
Just having a look there, Langford got lost in that play too. He should have cleaned Walker up.
Well, they had the man-on-man, didn't they? And there seemed to be a misunderstanding between Langford and Johnston. Langford appeared to have the man in front of him covered, but Johnston came from outside him, barreled him, and that left the hole.
Well, that's exactly what created the hole. He should have went. Langford should have just cleaned him up over the top before he offloaded.
But Parramatta, who started off on fire, suddenly find themselves down by 8 points. But here's a chance. The ball's been lost, and Goodwin comes up with it. Ball being spilled there by Bentley, I think it was.
Yeah, Colin Bentley, his eagerness to play the ball forward, but it was a good hit.
Here's Langford, who, when he saw Barry Walker sprinting away, you could see him actually shake his head in disgust that he managed to bust the line when he was nearby. Thought they had it covered. Here's Drake. Taken by Van der Voort and Clarke. On the Penrith quarter line. Bell sprints straight through. Good run from Bell. Slips it back inside. LAURIE was in support. 10 metres out is the fifth tackle. Barnes. LIDDIARD puts the kick up. It's the good one in goal area. Greene waits. He flies through. Parramatta go over the top of him. Is it a try? No. It'll go back to the 22.
Certainly a great take there by David Greene. As you see it on replay here, he never took his eye off the moment. Just going up. Plenty of pressure there from the Parramatta players. Clap your hands for David Greene. That was certainly a great take.
Andrew Leeds flying over the top, but somehow Greene managed to hang on.
No, it's certainly a great take.
And
All you can do is keep your eye on the ball.
Russell Fairfax, you reckon?
Lydiard shown in those first few kicks of his, Arthur, that he's a great kicker.
Spot on. Has been a great chase from Parramatta also.
Graham Bradley being spoken to by referee West, with Chris Mortimer, the captain, up there to hear the report.
Looks like he's saying that he's held on to someone, taking someone out of play here.
Well, he must have when the kick was in the air. So Parramatta get a chance for 2 points. If they couldn't get 4, they may get 2. Leeds, the man who flew through the air chasing that bomb, is going to take the shot at goal. See if we can catch Bradley, number 4 for Penrith, holding someone back. Can't see him anywhere there. That's a great take.
It's a tough penalty from a 22 tap to a possible 2 points.
Well, the man spoken to, Bradley, wasn't in the action at the end, so it must have been back upfield that he may have interfered with someone chasing through. Mark Geyer and John Cartwright, two tremendous footballers, both second rowers with ball skills and aggression. They're on the sidelines. Geyer won't be back for 5 weeks or so. Cartwright was almost right to take his place today, but he's going to be worried by a calcified arm right throughout this season. Leeds has the ball placed 10 metres to the right of the post. Second attempted goal. And this one raises the flags. Penrith 8, Parramatta 2. Parramatta on the board.
Plenty of Parramatta flags going up there, Warren.
Yes, there's plenty of support down that end of the field for them. See if we can find the player being held back. There's Bradley in the centre of your screen, just pulling Danny CRNKOVICH back. Only slightly impeded him, but enough for the referee, or at least the touch judge, not to miss it. And good work by the touch judge. To do without chasers being held back, let alone support players being held back. The last thing you need is to have good attacking raids being interfered with. So Parramatta back on their 22 with BARTOLO. At GOODWIN tries to shrug off the tackle. He got away from VOORT. Peters gained so far in the match, 5.79 to Penrith, 3.76 to Parramatta. 30 metres out. Bell out to LIDDIARD, shows it, goes himself. The pass has gone loose. Vandervoort dives for it, and it's a Penrith ball. So valuable to dive on those loose balls quickly. Good work.
A little bit unlucky there, John. If he could have found the support there, possible try time.
Yeah, I just think of these young backs from Parramatta, this is their best chance to move the ball around and try and make this defence feel very uncomfortable. They can do it because they've got the hands. They've got Jason Bell on the inside. A terrific little schemer.
There's an anxious Mick Cronin, a legend of Parramatta football. Another legend of Parramatta is Eric Groth, and Eric Groth has some testimonial functions on this week. The field goal attempt from Carter is a shocker along the ground all the way, and Leeds gathers it in. This week there's a golf day at Cumberland Golf Course for Eric Groth, and a dinner on Wednesday, August the 1st. In fact, the golf day is on Monday. A testimonial for Eric Groth, and I'm sure all the Parramatta fans would like to get involved in those functions. Or the guru, one of the great men of rugby league over the last decade. Brad IZZARD slow to get away from the tackle player, Johnston. Langford. He's down on his own quarter. Good tackle. LIDDIARD gets his kick in under pressure from Bradley. Kick from the blind side across to the centre of the field. Greene has room to move, and Stewart was on his outside. And I believe that Stewart can run the 100 metres in 10.68 seconds. He was going to go to the World Police Athletic Games in Canada.
That's faster than you and I, John.
Just in shape. A terrific tackle then by Joe Bartolo on Darren Stewart.
Carter. VITANZA. Carter swings it wide. It's almost intercepted by Jackson. He knocked it on, and Greene managed to gather, and that's 6 more tackles, but that was very close to an intercept. Carter throwing the long pass out, didn't have a good enough look. Vandervoort, good strong run. Hit the line, hit the advantage line hard and fast. VITANZA. He was looking to turn on the inside. FITTLER was looming up on the halfway line. CLARKE. He runs straight into Langford, who hits him firmly. Also in there was Bell. Carter, another poor kick from the dummy half position. Will they get 6 more? Well, I don't know whether the Parramatta player played at that.
Yeah, he had a player. He stepped out in front of him, young Jason Bell.
FITTLER steps out of the tackle. Bradley. Mortimer. Walker. Walker still going. The man who set up the first try slips the ball that's on the ground. Greene was there, but the pass was too low. ball just fell out of his fingers a little too early.
We have a look here. Barry Walker, former Newcastle boy, slips the ball, just slips out as he had David Greene support, and it would have been interesting.
Greene would have had a 20-metre sprint to beat the cover defence. He had a few metres start. 2-0 the scrums. Parramatta looking for a third with the loose head and feed, and they get it. Bell is tackled by Fittler, who got out from the lock forward spot. Langford, lanky customer, Andrew Langford,
Former North Sydney player.
teacher, joined Parramatta in '89, just 22 years of age. A lot of these Parramatta players have a big future in front of them if they can fulfil their potential. That's what Mick Cronin's looking for. Drake plays it. Johnston. He didn't really take on the defence that time, Peter Johnston. And the penalty goes to Parramatta.
Yeah, I thought that the penalty could have been conceded one ruck earlier when Joe VITANZA looked like he was going to sleep. If you have a look here, going into Peter Johnston, I think they're trying to strip him of the ball. That's what they've ruled here, that he's called tackled, and they strip him the ball after the call tackle.
Peter Johnston previously played with Parramatta Rugby Union. In fact, he was a New South Wales under-19 breakaway.
A whopping 11 missed tackles by Penrith, but they've been able to cover them up. Well, the Parramatta haven't tackled all that badly.
Just inside the Penrith half, Greg Drake wraps up the ball this time, doesn't attempt to get a pass away, and Barry Walker wasn't going to let him anyway. Bell works the blind side, back inside is Laurie. Gets it away to Langford, I should say Johnston. He's pulled down, 30 metres out. Mark Barnes dashes away from dummy half, picks up a good 10 metres. IZZARD makes a desperate tackle. LIDDIARD. Jackson steps away from Carter, back inside to LIDDIARD, who's wrapped up. It's the fifth tackle. Out it goes to Bell. His kick coming down just 10 metres away from the uprights. Green takes it on the full in the in-goal area, and it'll come back to the 22. No real pressure on the fullback.
We have a look here, the bomb goes up, but there were no chases for Parramatta within Kiwi. It was an easy take for David Greene. You have a look here, no one in a mile of David Greene. There's no pressure whatsoever.
Good play by McINDOE coming across to stand in front of David Greene and giving a little bit of extra protection. Here's IZZARD.
John, earlier in the half, Parramatta were getting up fighting to play the ball, but their play the balls are so slow at the moment.
Yeah, this is going to restrict them after. I think with a defence like Penrith, you just got to keep trying to roll them backwards. They're pretty solid. If you don't have a quick play of the ball, obviously in trouble. But I still think Parra's best go is to Jason Bell to run more towards the rucks, run more to the line and try and get supports off him.
Kick downfield from Mortimer, heading out towards the touchline. Well taken by Andrew Leeds. Leeds was named as captain of the reserve grade side before being promoted when Sterling pulled out. Just the 6 points in it. Penrith 8, Parramatta 2. Bell. Cut out pass, past LIDDIARD. Out it goes to Leeds, chiming in from behind. Good work there to use LIDDIARD as the decoy. Cut him out. Laurie. And it's the last tackle. LIDDIARD from dummy half. Takes a couple of steps and stab kicks in towards the fullback. Greene gathers. Brings it back upfield. He's all by himself. Langford comes in. Also in there was Johnston. Here's Stewart. Darren Stewart, 21 years of age. Van der Voort, who seems to have overcome all his injury problems that were nagging him earlier in the season. Serious problems he had. Here's VITANZA, gets a late pass away to Carter. It's been knocked on by Clarke. The referee will play a knock on both ways. VITANZA must have been very nearly on the ground when he threw that pass.
We'll have a look here, VITANZA going forward. Offload's a good ball. But Carter just tried to do too much there.
Well, the pass from VITANZA was fair enough. It just got it up in time. Yep. Here's Bell on the blind side from the scrum. How do you think Parramatta are overcoming the loss of Sterling and Kenny?
Actually, I think they're playing all right. They've got some speed out there. LIDDIARD's causing a few problems when he's got quite a deal of acceleration. He's causing a few problems out there, John, out wide. He's cut in between the centres, and if they're coming up a little bit early, he's having a go, and he's getting his arms free, and he's causing a few problems.
Yes, he'll always cause problems. It's good footwork, but what they're trying to do, Parra, they knock it into the centre and going down the edges. Not bad tactics. If they get one more head in there, they're a chance.
Lydiard got a heavy tackle from Chris Mortimer. He's stunned in the background. He's on his feet, but not feeling all that well. That's the 5th tackle. Bell, who's putting in probably more kicks than anybody for Parramatta at the moment. McINDOE allows it to bounce, just takes it as Leeds comes running through. And he's been dragged towards the touchline. Surely the referee's called held. Yes, he has.
Well, he should have been over there a little bit closer. You have a look, he's about 20 yards away. If he's going to call yell, he should get in where they can hear him.
Yes, it's sometimes very hard to hear the call. Here's Carter. But even more so when you've got a big crowd and at a place like the Sydney Football Stadium come semi-final time. Mortimer sends it out to FITTLER, and he's driven backwards. That's a heavy tackle. Good work there. LANGFORD and LAURIE, the back rowers combining with solid defence.
There's certainly been some great defence. The last 3 or 4 hits. There's been Johnston, there's been LAURIE, and Matt Goodwin putting in some great hits.
Mortimer's kick goes straight to Leeds. He runs into IZZARD, and he makes the tackle. Brad IZZARD's chasing and tackling game has been very effective. Bell slips a pass away to CRNKOVICH. He's taken well, tried to step back inside Cole Bentley. Barnes races from dummy half. Bentley was at marker, woke up just in time. VITANZA also up there. Greg Drake hits it up. Right in centre field. They're 20 metres out. What will Parramatta do here? They've got a couple of tackles up their sleeve. Barnes moves it to the left. LIDDIARD floats it wide. Bounces for BARTOLO, who took his eye off the ball. Gathered in by STEWART. He won't want to let him get away. Drags him over the touchline. So I suppose in the end BARTOLO has made up for his mistake.
Yeah, this will be interesting. You have a look here. There's a poor pass there, not finding the mark. He's dropping the ball, BARTOLO. If you have a look here, the Penrith player picks the ball up, Stewart, but that'll be interesting who gives the feed here. Yes, he's given gave the feed to Parramatta. I thought he might have went back, no advantage.
Well, it wasn't actually knocked on, I suppose. Well, I guess it was, wasn't it? Yeah, you're right.
Stewart knocked on.
Yeah,
in a situation like that, you know, there was no advantage to Penrith, so I thought he might have given the feed and the lease to Penrith.
Yeah, agree with you, Arthur. Should have gone to Penrith.
Well, I guess once the referee allows it to play on, then it was in the hands of the Penrith winger to he could have come in field.
Well, he played his advantage.
Yeah. Barnes, LAURIE, out to Bell. Good hands from Bell, but the pass to Jackson's gone behind him. BARTOLO has to go back and gather it in. The referee says it was okay. It wasn't knocked on. It's a 5th tackle, though. Bell from dummy half puts it very high. Greene is there. He can't get his hands on it. Too many players in front of him. And finally, it's been gathered in by Bradley for Penrith. David Greene came running up there to take the bomb. He was ready to fly, but there was a pack of players in front of him. He couldn't even get in close enough to jump for the ball.
Peter Johnson getting up very high there.
Carter very quick off the mark. And the penalty goes to Penrith. Only a couple of minutes remaining till half-time. Penrith have gained 788 metres, Parramatta 660, so Penrith have the advantage in distance, but Parramatta have had much more ball, 16 minutes versus 20 minutes.
It's important for Parramatta's chances here that they hold Penrith out here. They don't even want to concede a field goal.
8 points to 2 in favour of Penrith. CLARKE slips it away to Walker. They're midway between the quarter and halfway. Parramatta has entered the field. Carter gets it to Mortimer. Bradley can't break through the tackle of Barnes and Jackson. VITANZA. Penrith will have half an eye on the clock. 1 minute 30 remaining. FITTLER. No one with him, and the defence really wrapped him up. Wants to play it forward. No, he decides he'll play it back as the marker got there. Carter. The kick has bounced off Goodwin. It says it came off his chest. Well, I thought there may have been a hand in there, but the referee was closer than all of us. Langford hit a strong tackle underneath by VITANZA, and Vandervoort was getting fairly high in front. LEEDS.
After they've adjusted fairly well, Penrith, to the loss of Paul Taylor. Steve Carter in at dummy half doing a pretty fair job. One would think if it wasn't working well, Phil Gould maybe would leave perhaps Roy Simmons into the action. Bring Roy Simmons in if things weren't going well, but they're going fairly well at the moment around that area.
They certainly are. They haven't used Roy Simmons for a while, but he did win a couple of scrums against the feed in reserve grade, Roy Simmons.
Not such a good set of 6 there from Parramatta. They looked a bit confused, but the kick has evaded Greene, and Parramatta will be content to be down that end of the field. McINDOE plays it back now to Stewart. He's away from one. He's still going. Stewart escapes the tackle. He's got the fullback LEEDS in front of him. He gets past LEEDS, slips it away to Greene. Greene has support in Carter. There's only seconds till half time. 5 seconds remaining as he plays the ball quickly. McINDOE has support again in Carter. Slips the ball to Fittler. Fittler keeps it on the toe. If Fittler can get to it, it'll be a try, but he can't. And the half-time siren sounds. Great run by Darren Stewart to start that movement downfield. Fittler couldn't get to the ball in the end. I think it would have been play on. May have been knocked on, but it looked as if he kicked it before the ball hit the ground. So an exciting passage of play right on half-time. Penrith have scored the only try. They lead 8-2.
I've been to cities that never closed down, from LA to Rome and old London town. But no matter how far or how wide I roam, I still call Australia. I love being free, so I keep leaving the sun and the sea. But my heart lies waiting over the pond. I still call Australia home.
Everything just about in readiness for the second half here at Penrith. A burst of the whistle from Graeme West. And the ball down to Danny CRNKOVICH. Just 10 metres out. Parramatta will need to tighten up around the dummy half area. We saw Penrith starting to skip away, particularly the likes of Van der Voort and Carter were making good ground up the middle during that first half. Steve Carter and Joe VITANZA having very good games for Penrith. 8 points to 2. The Panthers are leading. And Barnes is trying to hang on to the ball in a wrestling match with IZZARD. It's the 5th tackle. And a poor pass, finally picked up by CRNKOVICH. His kick is charged down by Fittler, and it's a Penrith ball. So Parramatta have really messed it up there on the last tackle. Chance for Penrith now. Fittler.
That was a poor pass by Matt Goodwin. That's twice he's done that now.
Well, I guess Matt Goodwin isn't your typical dummy half, and he didn't get a very good pass away. Carter. Bentley looks wide. Doesn't get the pass away. Taken by Bell, but they're still only 10 metres out. It's the last tackle. See if Penrith can use the last tackle to kick more effectively. Greene. Stab kicks a little kick through it. It comes off the upright and just in the arms of Parramatta. That was a dangerous kick. I'm sure Greene had plenty of intentions of placing it near the upright too. It was a deliberate kick.
That was tremendous work by Glen LIDDIARD to get down. There was a reflex catch that he just got down. No self-preservation whatsoever.
Now Parramatta trying to work it away from this danger zone. That pass almost floating forward to Johnston. Just okay. He's made it to the 22. Bell out to Laurie. He went in and away, got away from the first tackle of Van der Voort. Couldn't escape from Brad IZZARD. 5th tackle. Bell kicks straight down the centre of the field on the first bounce to David Greene. Brings it back upfield quickly. Well, I wonder what the coaches had to say to the teams. Johnny Pearce.
Well, at half-time, Coach Gould set at 8-2. His team still had to keep the accelerator down. Very wary of Parramatta hitting back in the first few minutes. Mick Cronin very disturbed about the control in his team. He wants more running from dummy half by Mark Barnes and also more ball movement just on the fringe of the ruck.
Let's see if the players can put the words into action. IZZARD was trying to back up there, but FITTLER forced to take the tackle. Just lost track of him. IZZARD inside Parramatta territory. It's the last tackle. Carter puts the kick in. It bounces away from Leeds and forces him back into the in-goal area. The chasers are coming through. Bentley's there. So is Van der Voort. And a good tackle. Good chase. Perfect kicking game that time. Mahon, who hasn't seen too much of open space so far in the match.
Very good defensive player, Cole Bentley. His running game's not that great, but he certainly is a great defensive player. We have a look at the top tacklers here. Joe VITANZA having a great game, leading the tackle count for Penrith 22, and Matty Goodwin topping the score over there at Parramatta.
In fact, it's the whole front row for Parramatta doing well. The 3 front rows, 2 props and the hooker leading the tackle count. Here's McINDOE, dummies to kick. Tried to put a bit of hesitation into the minds of the tacklers, but they didn't fall for it. LIDDIARD and LAURIE there. Bradley takes it up the blind side. 32 metres out. Mortimer, one off the ruck, gives it to VITANZA. Carter in a dummy half. Mortimer to FITTLER. Tries to jump through the tackle. Gets it away to Walker. Right in the middle of the soft earth. I wonder whether their legs are going to get heavy by the end of this game. It's like running through sand in the middle there. The pass goes out to Stewart, but he can't hang on to it. Came off his chest. The referee will play the knock on. Mortimer just trying to slide the pass out.
Well, he might have thought, if you have a look here, Mortimer shaping as though he might have put the grubber through, but a delayed pass and not turning his trunk. Young Stewart there. Should have turned the top part of his body.
Parramatta ball, LIDDIARD. In 1986, Glen LIDDIARD went over to England to replace David LIDDIARD, who was injured playing with Oldham. When he got there, he was just 15 years of age and they wouldn't let him play. He had to wait a couple of months till he turned 16 and then he was straight on the field in First Division English football.
Yeah, remarkable feat.
Now, Parramatta trying to work it up the centre. Bell plays it. Goodwin gets ahead of steam up. Van der Voort stood his ground. LANGFORD, but another good tackle from Van der Voort. Excellent tackle. Second highest on the list for Penrith in the tackle counts. Pass out to LIDDIARD. Gets it onto his right foot. Came off the edge of his boot, but it's still quite an effective kick. It's in between the winger and fullback. Now GREENE has McINDOE over there, but he takes the tackle.
Looking at McINDOE over there, Johnny was shielding his eyes. It might be a ploy to put the ball up into the sun.
Well, answer at the moment, Parramatta are having problems just doing the right thing on the 5th tackle. Last 3 5th tackles, time comes to kick. They've had confusion in the ranks. I guess if you take Peter Sterling out of any outfit, it does become difficult.
It's a factor of the sun, particularly in the middle of winter. It does get very low midway through the second half. Looking into the wing as the winger from the far side of the field. It's back. Here's a loose ball. Mahon is chasing it through. But IZZARD manages to get back. That would have been danger. It's the last tackle. McINDOE hasn't realised it and he's going to be trapped. He does get away from the tackle. FITTLER has it now and he has support. He kicks ahead. Here's a race. CRNKOVICH and GREENE. GREENE taking over from CRNKOVICH, but across from the far side comes BARTOLO. And he's taken in a high tackle as he was sliding to the ground.
It was great cover by Joe BARTOLO there.
Great hands too.
Just looking at, GREENE was going to win the race just about. It's been interesting.
There's Joe BARTOLO making his way back to the other side of the field. Here's Greg Drake. You see how long the shadows are already, and we've only just begun the second half, so the wingers and centres on the far side of the field really do have a difficult angle to contend with the sun. Here's a good kick through from LIDDIARD, and he couldn't win the race to the ball. GREENE commits himself. The ball goes loose. Parramatta have extras there, but Jackson didn't pass it. He had to get it to BARTOLO straight away. He hesitated. may have been a little disoriented, but now the penalty goes to Parramatta. Interference in there, in the play, the ball.
Have a look here, the chip over the top by Lydia, but there's a lot of courage shown here by David Greene. Just have a look how he goes for this in the face of those feet. Tremendous courage there. We have a look, Jackson's got the ball. If he could have offloaded to BARTOLO straight away, we could have seen 6 points to Parramatta. But the situation just getting tangled up in Jackson's feet, Greene.
Well, Greene realised the danger. He knew his team probably hadn't got back. He decided to take the odds to it. Great commitment there from Greene. That is bravery, taking him on. Just went straight for that ball, no matter what the risk to himself. Drake.
They've got to get up and play the ball a lot quicker, Parramatta. Play the balls are just so slow.
Bell turns on the pace, showed good acceleration. They're just 9 metres out. Parramatta looking for their first try of the match. LAURIE changes direction. Barnes in a dummy half. They're only 8 metres out now. Barnes goes himself. Still going is Mark Barnes. He's only a metre out, but it's just one tackle to go. Parramatta have men out wide on the far side. They move it there well. LIDDIARD sends a long pass out, but Mahon can't hang on to it. The pass just too far in front of him. He stuck his hand out but couldn't pull it in.
Well, I thought this ball was a catchable ball. If you have a look here, the wide pass to Mahon might have been a little bit out of reach, but I thought it was a catchable, Phil.
Well, it would have been one that Parramatta needed him to take. They're down 8 points to 2 on the fingertips of Mahon. Some people pull them in, some people just see them spill out of their fingertips. A let off for Penrith now as they try to get it out of their own quarter. VITANZA, who has gone full throttle every time he takes the ball up and fights to play the ball quickly. Walker does the same. That's a great run from Barry Walker. Got through some thin defence.
Spoke about before, Warren, around that mark area, their defence has been very brittle.
It was GOODWIN who was left clutching at dust, and a good kick takes play inside the 22.
Being under pressure, great kick there, just bouncing inside and rolling towards the sideline. Great way to find 30 metres.
CRONIN and Bob O'Reilly. What good-looking blokes.
Should have seen him in his heyday.
7-0 now. The scrums have gone to Parramatta, but still no tight heads. They're all just going with the loose head and the feet. That indicates the kicking game from Penrith has been finding touch.
John, Chris Mortimer is such a competitor in defence. It'll be interesting to see whether he does go overseas, because I think it'll be a great loss to Penrith.
Yeah, certainly. He's slotted into the second row. He's good value out there because he's a good leader, good talker, Arthur. I think he'd handle another couple of years anywhere.
LIDDIARD slips it out to Jackson. Jackson trapped by FITTLER, standing wide. They've used up 5 tackles. Bell gets the right footer in. 2 passes wide of the ruck with Jason Bell.
That was a much better organised kicking game.
McINDOE has a little bit of room to move this time, but the defence is strong. That's a great tackle. LAURIE over the top, and underneath was CRNKOVICH. Stewart in from the wing. Not a lot of Darren Stewart, mainly because he's so tall, I suppose. He looks fairly slim. Bentley. Bell was underneath, trying to rake the ball out. GOODWIN also in there. Paul Clarke heads across field, trying to get to the edge of the ruck, but no breaks in the defence there for him as Drake wraps him up. Here's Carter from dummy half, kicking in, and the bounce is awkwardly for BARTOLO. It stood up in the air. He was anticipating it would keep on going, and he was going to try and intercept it on the touchline. It kicked up in the air and over the touchline.
If you have a look, Carter just stepping out from the dummy half position. A bit disappointed in Parramatta's defence. They haven't read him yet when he's going to the dummy half position. He's going there for one reason, especially on the 4th tackle, and that's to kick.
Another feed for Parramatta. LIDDIARD sends it out to LEEDS. BARTOLO chimes in from the far wing, wrapping it around. CRNKOVICH 10 metres short of halfway. Bradley standing over him. Johnston. Some of these players are tiring a little. And Jackson hits it up, gets a pass away to Mahon. Bradley picks it up and play on. Play on. You see the shadows stretching across the field, which make the television coverage a little awkward. There's Mortimer moving into dummy half. Clarke throws the dummy, still going. Paul Clarke gets the ball inside, great pass to Greene. Greene has Van der Voort. Van der Voort chases the direction and away from Bell. Colin Van der Voort. Bill Gould is pumped up with that one. Not much emotion on his face, but you see he's just taken his seat. Colin Van der Voort racing away for the try. Just got away from Jason Bell. Changed direction to just try and slip away from him. And here it was, good work in here by Paul Clarke initially. Through the dummy to break the first line. Then he gets away from the defence, slips the ball inside. Greene backing up beautifully. A perfect pass to Van der Voort. Van der Voort was always going to score, but Bell almost got the ankle tap to him.
You have a look here, the wide pass here to Paul Clarke. This is what he does well. He's a good ball player. Throws the dummy, slips out of a tackle by Langford. Goodwin should have locked him up. Who's in support? David Greene. And Colin Van der Voort also in support. Wins the race to the line. That's the ball game for Penrith.
Well, it could well be. Colin Van der Voort had a very serious ankle injury in the trials of 1990, but he's come back to full strength and first try of the season. What a valuable one it could well prove to be. Mortimer, right in front, adds the extras. So Penrith have skipped away to a lead of 14 points to 2, and it's going to be difficult for Parramatta from here.
Well, Parramatta will rue the mistake that gave Graham Bradley the ball. That resulted in this, 2 passes wide. Paul Clarke steps inside some pretty flimsy defence, not worthy of first grade really. Matt Goodwin couldn't lock him up. David Greene was a support player, picks up Van der Voort. He's shopping around for some support. There's none. He'll have to go a long way himself. He does so, shows a clean pair of heels. That's won the game for them.
It's going to be awkward for Parramatta now. They still have the ability in the side, but they're down by 12 points, and they're going to have to up their tempo if they are going to get back into this game. But they still have 25 minutes. So I guess we're a bit premature writing them off at this stage.
Well, it's a little bit WYNN. Looks like he's warming up, putting on his headgear, doing his stretches.
He's been out for most of the season, but just coming back in the last couple of weeks. Penalty goes to Penrith against Mahon in there. Also,
have a look here, Mortimer going up. A good tackle by Goodwin there, but Mahon holds him down too long in the tackle. Actually, it's Goodwin who's penalised, climbing all over top of Mortimer.
Carter will take the tap just short of the halfway line and gives it to Stewart. For most of the game, our error count has shown Penrith making the most mistakes, but Parramatta have taken over in terms of making mistakes just about the same time as the scoreboard has gone very close to putting the final nail in the coffin.
From a coaching point, John, it's a bit disappointing. Penrith have just been playing one off the ruck and just relying on the individual breaks.
Good ball again from Clarke to IZZARD.
Not bad support play, just on the fringe. Here's a good one again.
McINDOE down the touchline, kicks ahead of Leeds. The ball bouncing close to the line. McINDOE can't hang on to it. McINDOE claiming that he was interfered with in some way, but just before he got his hands on the ball, he's claiming he was interfered with.
This will be interesting. Here you have a look here. The break made by IZZARD. Here comes Greene in support. Offloads to McINDOE, and McINDOE chips over the top, wins the race, but is he tackled here by Andrew Leeds? We'll have a look. Andrew Leeds coming across, Mahon rather. That was a fair tackle.
Absolutely fair work there by the cover defence of, I think it may have been Leeds, in fact, but good work by McINDOE and great hands back upfield, first of all by Clarke and also David Greene. Parramatta are getting cut out wide in the last few minutes by Penrith. Here's Mahon.
Arthur, I think that's what Parramatta could do a little more. Jason Bell, runarounds. He's very dangerous. If he can select a player and then run around him, I think he can give them some problems.
Yes, an act of frustration there, John, putting the chip in when it wasn't on.
It's well covered by Brad Izzard.
Yes, but it was never on. It was a situation where he shouldn't have chipped, and that sort of, to me, is an act of frustration.
Mortimer. Now Peter WYNN has moved to the touchline, and Greg Drake will be the man to be replaced. IZZARD puts the kick in. Leeds goes back towards the corner post, and no, it didn't go dead in goal. Well, it just must have come away from the line at the last moment. Mahon tries to hurdle the tackle of Brad Izzard, but he gets hold of him. Brad Izzard's having a solid game.
Here is that replay once again. Yeah, Grell's nearly to the in-goal touchline. He had to hustle that up in a hurry because he looked like getting caught in goal there.
Here's Parramatta now 12 metres out from their line. But if that ball had touched that white line in goal, they would have been back to the 22 for a tap. Greg Drake could be his last hit up of the match. He gets a loose pass back. Play on with Laurie. Laurie showing some strength. Trying to drive over the top of the tackle. Cole Bentley. On the blind side, LIDDIARD gets a long kick out on the full. He didn't have much angle, but his direction wasn't there. The metres gained midway through this second half. Penrith well and truly in control. 1,425 versus 1,110. There's Greg Drake leaving the field now. His tactic of kickers standing on the blind side of the ruck when they're only 5 metres from touch and then aiming for touch after.
Well, it's a ridiculous thing. They should have been trying for field position, but in that situation there, they've got a good kick too. He's a idiot who kicked that ball.
Yep,
it show that he has got a prodigious punt, so he should have just been finding distance.
On the Parramatta quarter, on the blind side, IZZARD. A long ball, it's intercepted. Jackson it is. Comes back upfield, but there are a couple of Penrith Panthers just trailing in behind. And FITTLER, or Bradley, has conceded the penalty. Didn't clear him. Bradley just hung on for no reason there.
We'll have a look here. The white pass here, thrown by IZZARD. Jackson on the spot. The intercept always intercept stuff.
Luckily for Penrith, they had a couple of men back. In fact, not just luck, because they were backing up. There's the Brains Trust. Also Dennis Fitzgerald from Parramatta.
It's a good replacement by Parramatta. 2 years in WYNN.
Peter WYNN has always been a very enthusiastic footballer. Played for Australia against New Zealand in 1985. Played plenty of State of Origin football around 84 and 85 as well. His first game for New South Wales was back in 1979. Bell weaving, gets it back to Barnes. Goodwin decides he'll go forward. Can't break through the tackle. Peter WYNN. He gets it out to Jackson. Jackson is in space. Has support inside in Leeds. But a good tackle over the top from Carter in cover. It's the 5th tackle. LIDDIARD back to his feet. Over the top. There's plenty there, but there's also cover. Leeds has it. Spins away. Gets the pass intercepted. And Penrith come up with a ball with Paul Clarke. Now it's with Stewart. A little bit of desperation there from Parramatta and not a lot of organisation. That is the place where Peter Sterling would make the difference.
Well, Peter Sterling probably would have put a little grubber in behind the line. That way they could have kept the pressure on. And that's what happened. They ran the ball in the last, and there was hardly any chance of scoring a try there, I thought. They had plenty of defence there.
Someone like Sterling would just stand back that extra pace, think about it an extra second, and then just choose the right option.
Well,
for that matter, Brett Kenny would probably would be similar.
We have a look. There's a forward pass, a knock-on rather, he's ruled by Penrith. But they put a good...
Craig Connor, 42. He's going on for Graham Bradley. It'll be FITTLER out into the centres, I'd suggest.
There's Graham Bradley leaving the field. Hasn't really seen a lot of the ball today because Penrith haven't used the centres from regulation play all that much. More so in the second half than the first half. CRNKOVICH trying to stumble his way out of the tackle, but Connor immediately makes a hit.
Well, he's just going to tighten the defence up there. He feels that they're probably opening up just a little bit, Penrith, so he's just going to tighten the defence up. He's a workaholic, Craig Connor.
Goodwin slips it away to Johnston. Bell comes around to Laurie, but he runs into the shoulder charge of Van der Voort, who read it. You can see the run around coming. And Bell very slow to his feet.
I told him to do that.
Barnes. Yeah, that's right, the run around. CRNKOVICH straight into the arms of FITTLER. Did you tell Colin Van der Voort as well, Teddy?
He must have heard me.
FITTLER plays it back. Bentley. Penrith leading 14 points to 2. There's 17 minutes remaining. Stewart. Parramatta need 2 converted tries to get on level terms. Mortimer, VITANZA, still going. No one on the inside was supporting him on the run. Carter. He hooks this one across field and it's out on the full. Came off the inside of his boot and out on the full, so it will come back to Parramatta.
Well, he'll be disappointed with this kick, Carter. He's had plenty of room here to just put the ball downtown and just hooks it straight over the touchline. This was on the 4th tackle, so scrum back where the ball was kicked.
Would have been a handover if it was the last tackle. Parramatta worked the blind. Langford charges straight into Mortimer, but Mortimer just flings him over. An act of superiority there from Chris Mortimer. Now Penrith are up inside the 5. What will Parramatta do here? Not much point in going for the goal, I wouldn't think. They take the tap. Quick tap taken. There's Penrith up inside the 5. Just inside the Penrith quarter area. WYNN back to Barnes. Now it goes wide to Laurie. He's 20 metres out.
Pity he couldn't have offloaded that ball. They had the numbers out the right.
Bell, LIDDIARD gets the short pass away to Jackson. Good work by LIDDIARD, trying to draw in the defence, pull them in towards him as he just rolled the pass away. Bell. CRNKOVICH straightens it up. The Penrith defence has been pretty tight. They haven't conceded a try so far.